Good evening. It's March 27th, 6:04. I'm going to start the conservation meeting. We'll start with the, oh, and I'm supposed to say this is being recorded. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, justice for all. First is a notice of intent for 0 Southbridge Road. Alexis Fortes?
Yes, I'm Robert Dudley, engineering for the applicant.
Okay, if you want to come up and,
Yeah,
Should we state our names?
oh, yeah.
attendance.
Please state your name for the attendance.
Samantha Costello.
James Kepke.
George Slingo.
Wesley Maraska.
Good evening again. For the record, Robert Duff, McClure Engineering. We're here for the applicant. He's working on Southbridge Road. We're filing a notice of intent to construct a single-family house, driveway, and a septic system. So as you can see, the site plan over on the screen, the house is below the road. The driveway comes in and goes down to the house itself. Then the septic system is located behind the house down gradient. So there is some wetlands areas we do show. We're working within the 100-foot buffer zone. The septic system is out of the house. But not a lot to it, just again, a single-family house construction.
Matt, do you have any info for us?
Excuse me?
Well, this one has a DEP number with no comment. So in looking at the plan, and I went out and looked at it, the wetland delineation was fine, had no problem with that. The house plan looks pretty standard. Everything is, outside the normal bylaw zones. And I noticed the erosion protection detail, which is great. I'm glad to see you're using the 9-inch wattles. The only thing I didn't notice is where the erosion protection would be placed on site. So what I would recommend is that you place the erosion protection in the back over here on the 50-foot line.
Okay.
And you can see can you see my cursor waving
Up there?
Above.
on the screen?
Yep.
Yeah, on the top one.
So I put the erosion protection at the 50-foot line where you have 50-foot Title V behind the septic. And on the sideline here by the grading,
Well, we'll go down the property line and then probably just continue it. We'd probably utilize, it's the tree line is right in here, we'd probably just kind of wrap around it instead of kind of go through the woods and then come out here and grab the 50-footer in that area and turn.
yeah, that works.
All right, that's simple.
That works. Everything else looks great. I think the standard order will cover it. And everything else, the plan, the site, everything looks very much in order. Plans are very thorough, grading's very thorough, details very thorough, so I'm good.
Okay, are there any abutters present? Any questions from the board? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Someone would like to make a vote?
I'd like to make a motion that we issue a standard order of conditions for Southbridge Road parcel 220/025, with the covenant that we have more erosion by the 50-foot line.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Thank you.
Very much for your time. The order of conditions, when can we anticipate getting?
That'll be out next week. Aura is out for the week. She'll be back next week, so she's got a draft already written, so she'll finalize that and send it out.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is an NOI for Hayden Pond Road, Brian LeBrecq, LeBrecq Living Trust.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
just a note before you start the meeting, DEP has not issued a file number on this yet. As such, we can't close the hearing.
okay.
Yeah, I issued that, Matt, and sent my fee in.
Brian, please don't interrupt. Let the chairman call on you.
Okay,
So don't interject anything. DEP issues the number. They do have your paperwork. They just have to issue a file number so you can hang the appropriate sign. They haven't done that yet. So they usually evaluate these applications, give their comments, and issue a number. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so where are we on? I will open the public hearing at 6:10. Mr.
Okay,
Le,
Brian. Go ahead. I'm sorry, George.
yeah, Mr. LeBrecq, you can speak now.
With cameras
Okay.
on, please, both Matt and Brian.
Huh?
If Matt isn't sharing his screen, he's technically supposed to have his camera being shared, his face. Also with Brian, if he plans to speak, we are supposed to see their faces.
you need to see my face?
Yes,
Here I am.
and Matt too, please.
Okay.
Matt too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sec.
Okay. You may go now.
Do you have my file there? I submitted the file. If I'm supposed to share my screen to show the plans of the site located on Hayden Pond?
For some reason, I was never sent a PDF of your plans, but I have pictures of the site that we're taking today that I can share.
Okay.
One sec. Let me know if everyone can see that, okay?
Can everybody see those pictures?
Can you zoom in a little? I have pictures as well.
So this is the lot that I had cut some trees down. My intention for the lot is to park this kind of vehicles on it, if you will, boat trailers. And I'm looking to level out the lot a little bit by putting in either some wood chips or some soil to basically go over the tree stump so that I can get on the lot and I can navigate on the lot with my vehicle to park my stuff on the lot. And I was using it in the fall to put some granite that I had purchased for my project at 120 Pierpont Road. And I've recently removed that granite off this lot. And, you know, no more of those kind of materials will be sitting. They're a little bit right there. I still got a couple of pieces to pick off right there near the road. But I've put silt fence up. I put hay bales up, albeit I have a little bit more to do. But you know, that's pretty much the extent of the project.
Okay. Matt, have you been over there today, or?
Actually, Dickie took these pictures. I was on the other side of the state today.
Okay.
So we have, you know, some ground that's been turned over. I know he has taken off the materials. He did advise me he was going to be taking off the materials. So the project you have here is a retroactive filing. He actually cleared the trees out of the lot, so we have to talk about doing replanting on the property. within the 25-foot zone because cutting goes up to the 25 feet. So 25 feet is gonna have to be measured off the shoreline, and that is gonna have to be planted. So what I'm recommending here is good-sized shrub plantings. It'll create a better density, it'll create a better vegetative buffer, and they'll grow a little bit faster than replacement trees would. So that's gonna have to be marked out in the field. Mr. LeBrecq, you can't, doing work on the property for the purposes you're talking about, as long as you're greater than 25 feet, is a permittable activity under our bylaw. However, you have to make sure that you do not fill the grading. So you can't raise the grade because the area is in a flood zone. So that's gonna have to be taken into account, and I'm sure that's probably what the state is examining currently. And that's all I have right now.
All right, because yeah, that's fine. So you would stake out locations of shrubbery, or you would say X amount of feet, you need to put this variety in a position within the 25 feet or along the 25-foot line of the water?
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to stake out the 25 feet. I can verify to make sure that it's okay.
Okay,
But we're gonna have to write in any conditions that are issued. Would have to write in like a planting conditions. For example, I can work off of his 25-foot marking, calculate the square footage, and come up with a density of planting based on a square pattern of planting. They have to be so many feet apart. I think with shrubs, it's a minimum of 5 feet. So we're gonna have to calculate a number on that. This isn't gonna be a case of, slap a couple of scragglies in and call it a day. So there's gonna be a lot of planting to take its place.
yes. No, I get it. So, yeah, no, whatever the conditions are, that I need to abide by, just, yeah, let me know.
Now, Matt, he can grind the stumps, correct?
Yeah, I don't want him removing the stumps. Grinding is fine. Going in, digging, taking them out, yeah, that's kind of a no-go.
So I can grind them in lieu of, I'm not allowed to bring in wood chips or anything like that?
And what would you use the wood chips for?
There's just a lot of debris on the forest floor. I would just use it as, just a way to, flatten it out. It is, a bit rough, just to flatten it out. And if I do, grind the stumps, which I can do, I've had somebody out there to take a look at it if it's possible. It is possible, just to kind of flatten out, because they're only going to get down so far. Still to flatten that out as well, so.
Well, for the commission, I would prefer, if he's going to use material to kind of steady the floor, would be something more naturalized like wood shavings.
Okay.
However, they have to be greater than 25 feet away from the edge of the water. That zone is a no-touch zone. It's got to be replanted and maintained as a no-touch zone.
Okay,
Because of the way the bylaw is written, there will be a perpetual maintenance condition on your permit, which gets recorded on your deed, that 25-foot zone is demarked and would have to be maintained as a 25-foot zone.
okay.
Any questions from the board? Any questions from the abutters?
Isn't a lot.
Could you please come up and state your name for the record, please?
For the record, my name is Jackie Valley, and we are the abutter that has been most impacted by Mr. LeBrecq's demolition of that property over there. I have a number of issues. One, Mr. LeBrecq has used my property to access his property for the last 6 months. 6 months ago, he took down over 20 trees without a permit. I think the fact that Mr. LeBrecq is the chairperson of the Economic Development Committee in this town and is under the direct auspices of the town council, the rules have not applied to him anywhere. When I first called, George, you came to my house and I was telling everyone, God, I can't believe the commission actually had someone here within 24 hours of 24 trees being taken down along the waterway without a permit. And he said to me, George, you said to me at that point, we are going to issue a cease and desist order until he gets a DEP permit. Am I correct? Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
an NOI.
That never happened. He has continued to work over there with his bulldozer. He's cleared part of my land. I can't even tell where the pins are anymore for our land. He keeps saying, no, you're over there. I took pictures the other day of where he told me, and there's at least 20 feet from where he told me my rock was, and where he's cleared and made this pathway directly to the waterfront from the road. Our biggest concern is that that access way is going to open Hayden Pond to excessive boat traffic from outside. Hayden Pond has been one of the cleanest, best ponds in this town. We've worked hard to keep it that way as a pond association and as individuals. The other day, the cove that's between his property and mine was filled with an algae-like substance, of which I took pictures, and I sent them to Water and Wetlands to ask for their input. Now, I didn't tell Water and Wetlands there was any construction going on. I simply said, can you identify this for me? And they came back and they said that it certainly was an algae that was blooming, that it could be from runoff, and that it could be from a milder winter than usual. That was their response. But we're concerned about the water quality over there. I don't want any access to the pond for the public. I don't want him clearing my land. He brought in these truckloads of rocks that are bigger than this stand and had them there, crushing everything down. He's riding over there with his backhoe all the time, grinding down those stumps and dirtying up the water. Stuff is going into the pond, and nobody's even looking at it. I've been to see Orphan on 3 different occasions, and on each occasion she said, yep, we'll have Matt go look at it. Now, it's been 6 months. I have never heard one word from Matt Morrow. Orphan says, I can't tell you anything, you'll have to wait for the hearing. I'm frustrated as the dickens because we should be able to trust our local government to enforce the rules for everyone. And I don't think that's being done.
Well, I can tell you, when I went over and I saw you, I went to the town hall, I found out where Mr. LeBrecq lived, and I went over and I issued a cease and desist that day. Now, I did not hear of any building or any more work that was going on.
That's not true.
No, I have not heard that.
Okay.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm just saying, this is the first I'm hearing that more work continued.
Oh, work continues. Could I show you the pictures that I took?
Please bring him.
There's obviously lack of communication in your department.
I'm just so angry that this has gone on so long with no resolution. Here's my house. This is where he's creating all of that havoc. He's got boats. He's got the backhoe over there. This is my now view. This is taken from my yard, looking across where he's opened it up directly to the road.
Do you have pictures of the backhoe being used?
I do. These are the rocks he brought in. 3 truckloads. You know, it's kind of like, here's the backhoe. There's the trailer. There's the stumps. And he's been digging over there and digging over there. He's over there all the time, and I am just so frustrated. I don't know what else to do. Here's a better picture. This is my land. This is the rock. I took this picture because he says this is the line. That's what he told me. And this is what he's cleared on my land.
Mrs. Valley, unfortunately, that part, we have no control over property lines. But the other stuff concerns
But
us.
well, it should concern you. You can see the water running off in a different route going into the pond. Looking at the pictures that I took. Of the backhoe, that's more of it.
Matt,
Where's the runoff?
Here's the runoff. I mean, I don't know what else I can do
See all
to.
the silts.
I've been to Ora's office 3 times, and every time she told me that Matt was going out to look at it.
So we haven't,
please don't, if you show me your phone, I
just want to show you the picture of
I
the.
can't look at it,
Why?
because then I have to confiscate your phone. It's evidence.
Okay.
You
Well,
have the picture.
I will be glad to leave any of the.
I don't want your phone.
you can print it off for us.
Oh,
Yeah, you-
I see, okay,
be in
all
a row.
right, didn't know that. They were all telling me to come up and show you, but okay.
And this is where it's all.
Or otherwise, I don't want your phone.
No, I don't want you to.
It is. The laws are so crazy right now.
I never.
And he keeps saying to me, when I confronted him, Brian, again the other day, he said to me, I know I'm on your land, I know, I'll fix it. But no solutions, no nothing.
Matt,
Yes, George?
have you been listening to Mrs. Valley?
Yeah, I've heard it.
Now, did he continue to work over there?
I saw work going on as far as soils being disturbed. When I called him, he would say he was taking material off the site or parking a vehicle, and I cautioned him not to do any further work.
Excuse me? Could I speak?
Please state your name for the record.
Okay, do you want me to leave these
Yes.
photos?
Can you,
Please.
can you leave them for
I
us? That would
will.
be great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Valley.
Thanks for
My name is
listening.
Donna Gothier. I live on 10 Norman Lane. I've been a resident of Hayden Pond since 1959. I have observed 3 times Mr. LeBrecq working on his property. I walk every day with my dog. I've observed him. The 3rd time, I confronted him. He got out of his bulldozer, and I asked him, you are not supposed to do anything on your property. There's a cease and desist on here. He didn't say anything to that. He goes, well, I said, if you own waterfront on Pierpont, what do you want a waterfront on here. He goes for storage. He told someone else on Hayden Pond that he wants to make a park out of it. To me, that's public access. But I witnessed him 3 times doing work, moving the land, moving the earth, and he's disrupted. He's totally destroyed that land. So, I mean, we're all upset, all of us. We have spent millions, it seems like millions of dollars to try to keep our pond safe and clean. And he's come in here in a few short months and he's destroying what is valuable to us. And yeah, we are upset. I don't know what else to say. The silt screen and the bales of hay, he doesn't have them up there at all correctly. There's holes under the silt screen. There are no areas where there's nothing at all. And I asked him, I said, your barriers are not right. He said, well, nobody told me how to put them up. We asked him to come to our fall meeting, November 4th. He never showed up. We would gladly help him and tell him what to do, what the laws are. He lives on Pierpont. He doesn't already know the rules of the pond? Yes, he does. Why does he think they're different on Hayden Pond? We're upset. Thank you.
Can I speak?
Yep. Just state your name for the record, please.
Thank you. My name's Joe Gaduri, property owner down at the, what would be, what, the north end? Yeah, the north end, the cove in the north end by, where you turn in by Cottage Road. Been on the pond my whole life. I've been a property owner for 25 years. I'm the vice chairman of the Pond Association, but I want to make it clear I am not speaking for the Pond Association at this point, speaking for myself and what I think is probably issues that I share with most of my neighbors that I can tell at this point.
I would
Some
most
of this
of your neighbors.
Some of this will be reviewed, but I'm going to say it anyway for clarity's sake. Say it anyway. I had heard, I did not hear this firsthand, but I heard it from property owners that I feel are very reliable sources of information, that initially they were told that that land was bought to be a parking lot for construction equipment. And at the time in that conversation, it was also mentioned that there was the intention to, quote unquote, create a boat ramp, which, huge red flag right there, for all the obvious reasons, but I'm going to go into it even more. For the past 25 years, in as much as I've been at the pond my whole life, my family lived there since before I was a child. I grew up there. I've been picking garbage out of that water along Hayden Pond Road for 25 years. And I can tell you that it only came from people who don't live there. Only and exclusively came from people who don't live there. And on occasion in the past, fairly frequently, people had made their way, and technically those people were trespassing at that point, made their way over that land and put boats into Hayden Pond that came from ponds that weren't spending any money on weed treatment. And we have spent an enormous amount of money over the last 25 years to keep that pond clean. And it is spotless. It is spotless, right? It's not spotless by accident. So when we see this, in addition to the fact that when I went to the town hall and asked to see the application for this application for this permit, presumably, I believe it's called WPA Form 3 Notice of Intent, it specifically says to build a single-family home. Now, none of this jives. The parking lot for the equipment doesn't jive, the boat ramp doesn't jive, the single-family home doesn't jive. It's dubious at best. So we are deeply concerned. We absolutely do not want to introduce any form of public access to the pond because it's been problematic in the past. People who come in don't know the path. It creates safety issues. They bring boats that have not been, that have been in water that hasn't been treated. It's always been a nightmare, and this would only continue to make it significantly worse. So we really feel we're entitled to some very, very clear explanations as to exactly what is being planned, what would be being permitted, and exactly what would not be being permitted before this thing goes any further. Thank you.
Okay, well, if you look right above it, it says general project description.
Yep.
It says adding a parking area at grade within floodplain and buffer zone. Grading is not change, the grade will not change. Gravel is to be placed in order to allow parking and replanting of shrubs within 25-foot setback. Now Matt is gonna enforce that they do the 25-foot setback and replant all that. So there won't be a boat ramp there. I can tell you right now, there won't be one.
If we can be absolutely positively sure that there won't be a boat ramp there, we would feel good about that particular point. But this does in fact specifically say
Yeah.
single-family home.
Yeah, there's no way that he can put a single, he can't meet the setbacks.
What? Hello,
So-
thank you very much.
So that's just obviously it's a typo, because you can't put a septic
It's
system.
been typoed more than once. It's been typoed in 2 particular places.
But if you read right above it where it says, general description of what's
Okay.
going on.
I want to make that point for the record.
Yep.
And separately, if this is what was submitted, as I understand to be the diagram for the work, this is by no means an approved plan.
No.
No, we all agree that this is not an approved plan? Do we agree that that's not an approved plan?
I don't even see that.
I have 2 copies, I can give you one. You can keep that.
Thank you.
It is a napkin sketch on a good day. It is not an approved plan. And everyone else who was built on the pond has been really astute and fastidious about dotting the i's, crossing the t's, and with your help, and with the committee's help, making sure that every single rule that needed to be followed was followed. And it's been a beautiful thing. This is not that at all. And I think all of us probably feel that way. Am I close? Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
What was the date on that now?
Jackie Valley again. I had one other thing written down here that I forgot to mention. I got caught up with the pictures. And I question whether or not it makes sense to have a storage facility for construction equipment, which is what he says, that close, sitting on the edge of the water. They all have gas, they're diesel engines.
Well, he did not, when I talked to him, in fact, even tonight, when he was on the Zoom thing, he said it was good to park his boat trailer and his other the the jet skis, to park that. That's what he said.
No, he told me it was going to be construction equipment, and he's got this large utility trailer, which is used for construction. He also has, I've looked at that backhoe all winter long, other than a few days here and there when it was being used somewhere else, and then he's back with it, and he's using it over there all the time. That was my final point that I had written down, and I wanted to make sure I made it.
Mr. LeBrecq, would you like to comment on that?
Yes, I would. So I agree. Well, my boat trailers are there. I had a trailer there. My intention is to use it for a parking spot for my stuff. The work, I put materials there. I'm doing a large, if you look, I went through conservation, I got a DP number. I'm doing a large landscape project on Pierpoint Meadow Pond right now. I used the Hayden Pond lot to store the hardscape materials, granite block, and I moved them off-site as, Jackie saw me there, and I moved my machine off that site. Moving up and down the lot and moving materials, that's what I've been doing. And, when I was done, I I raked back the pine needles and the ground debris to cover up the tracks that I placed on the property. Listen, I live on the water. I get it, and I'm not here. I'm a member of this community. I'm not here to make enemies. I'm there. I have no land, where I live, and I bought this lot as a proximity to my primary residency to leave my boat trailers there. I never had the intention, nor, this is how rumors get started, a single-family home, anything more than putting my boat trailers there. Okay, I had the excavator there for the winter. I don't need to put it there if it's gonna be a problem. I've tried to appease the upteen amount of people that have stopped to interrupt my day, to express their displeasure with me disrupting their view. I get it, all right? But, I am gonna take care of the trees. I don't wanna put a park there. And, I went to Jackie's house and I introduced myself in the fall, and Jackie's biggest concern was having anybody enter the pond, and we agreed that, I said, I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna put a blockade up, or I'm gonna put a cable up, and, everything was satisfactory as far as I was aware of that conversation. And that's still my intention, if that's what, Jackie and the members of Hayden Pond want to see. My story's been consistent, and I'm here, and you guys have my address. You got an issue, come talk to me. I'm not afraid to talk to any of you. I mean, I'm trying to make it right. And, I believe she's there tonight. She expressed, her displeasure with my silt erecting on the site. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it, and I'm gonna do what's right. And that's it. And when Matt tells me the trees, I'm gonna put trees up the way I'm supposed to. And I'd like to go over there and sit and maybe throw a canoe in. I'm a member of this neighborhood too. And I bought that lot, and I want to use that lot for my intended purposes, park my jet skis and trailers, and that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm sorry it's gonna ruin your view, but guess what? I'm gonna be there, either you like it or not.
Excuse me. I personally saw him working the property on January 14th. It was a cold Sunday, very cold. He wasn't just moving equipment, he was pushing the earth, filling stuff in, moving stuff. So when he says he wasn't doing that, I personally saw it. I saw it 3 times. So I don't want him thinking that, oh, he's just moving equipment. No, he has not. He's been working the ground. When he knows he shouldn't have been doing it.
I'm all done on that property, guys. I'm moved off. I'm on Pearpoint Meadow Pond now. All I'm doing is having my trailers there.
All right. Well, we can't vote on. Please state your name for the record.
Okay, my name is Cheryl Osowski Dubois. I've been there since 1951 on Hayden Pond. And I decided to rebuild my family home a while back. I hired a farmer from Dudley to come and take a patio out, which was 20 feet away from the water. And I was the beneficiary of a cease and desist order. So I got a call up in Ogunquit when I was on vacation, and what he did was he moved the small bulldozer around the front. The person that was supposed to work with him that day, his grandson, didn't show up. So he was an older man, and he was digging the things out with a shovel, the flagstone, and he was putting them into the bucket, and then he was driving the bucket around, like the machine, and dumping it into his into the back end of his truck. And he was gonna use it on his farm. He was gonna use all the stones on his farm. So anyway, so I got the cease and desist. I had my DEP number. It was inside, and I didn't put the stakes on it to stick it into the ground. So I didn't realize, I thought I had it, so that was okay. I got explained, it was explained to me that I needed to have it displayed, which I immediately did, and was horrified that this happened to me. I didn't dismiss it, I didn't ignore it. I came back from Ogunquit early so that I could take care of that right away. My DEP sign is now on I made two. There's one in the front and one up on my shed facing the road. And then I went and asked for a check to see if I was compliant. And that is when I continued to do what I wanted to do on the property. I didn't ignore it. I didn't go and do it anyway. And I didn't care, I didn't say, I don't care what anybody else thinks. I've been up there since I was born. There's no sign on Mr. LeBrec's site. And then again, reiterate, the trees taken down, pieces were in the pond because there was nothing up when he was taking all those trees down. I had wattles along my property, which I still have, and I have silt fence that was wrapped around the wattles as a double duty. You can see daylight under his bales of hay. They're helter-skelter. They're every which way. Even though these issues were not fixed, he still consistently is working on the property. So one would think that somebody that was involved with the places that he is, real estate and everything else, you live on the pond on Pier Point, you know what the rules are, you know what the regulations are. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can only, you can't just say, well, I didn't know, and that doesn't cut it. It didn't cut it for me. I got a cease and desist. So what happened? I don't understand how I had to get one. I complied immediately. I did everything I had to do, and I was nervous about it. I wasn't cocky about it and saying, well, whatever. I did what I was supposed to do and didn't give anybody any grief and aggravation. Thank you.
Please state your name for the record.
Thanks. Still Joe Gaduri. I want to cut to the chase and try to get a summary together. I think what we would most appreciate, I am guessing, but I think it's a reasonable guess, what we would most appreciate from the committee is your help in making absolutely sure that nothing is allowed to happen that will damage that water or functionally allow public access. That's what we're asking for, because we care about that place that much. We have that much of ourselves invested in it and a significant amount of money, which is unimportant compared to how important it is to us in our hearts, because it's everything to us. It's a gift from God, and we know it, and we take care of it like that. And that's the attitude that we will continue to hold. So please, do what you can to give us your absolute assurance that that's the way you will look at it, because you understand that that's what we need. Is that fair?
Right now, the part that I have a problem with, because I don't know if I can legally say that he can't allow somebody to come on his property to put a canoe on it.
Well, I understand that.
I don't know if I can legally tell him that he can't do that.
Creating a path into the pond and just leaving it open would certainly not be, not work for any of us. But if the man owns the land and it's his land and within certain guidelines, which are the legal guidelines, he can do what he chooses to do with it within the guidelines. But what we're trying to make clear at this point is we're looking for an attitude.
I believe that he stated that he'd put a cable up or something.
No, I will.
He would
If that's what the people in Hayden Pond want, I have no intent. I do not want anybody walking on my property. I told Jackie this. I've told everybody that I spoke to that stopped to talk to me. I will put a cable up, I will block that, nobody will use that as a boat launch.
Okay, so that's
I'm
a very significant point. That's a very significant point.
Come on.
So-
I get it, guys. I mean, we're on a closed pond at Pier Point too, and we have the same challenges of people bringing in foreign seaweed. We battle weeds all the time. So that, sir, that, I hear what you guys, I hear Jackie is saying, I hear what all the residents are saying about access. That is a I will take care of that for you, on your request. That access has always been there, by the way. I did not create that. That was always there on that property. And when I took the property, and yes, I cut trees, it was garbage. Garbage, there's people using that boat launch already and leaving garbage behind. And that's the kind of stuff I don't like that.
There was never a formal boat ramp, but there was people, if the boat was small enough, there were ways that people could get on, and they did. So,
The trees prevented.
so I understand what he's saying. And
All right.
and if that's in fact how it's gonna be handled, if there does end up being what could seem to be access to the water, if it's locked up, that certainly would be best for all involved, and we really, really would appreciate that. Beyond that, there's the issue of taking care of the runoff and the water quality, so we just want you to know how we feel, how much we feel the way we feel, and we're asking for your help.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Okay, so at this point,
Could I just say one more thing? The day that my name's Donna Gauthier, the day that I confronted Mr. LeBrecq, he mentioned that he said he told Jackie he would put a chain link barrier. But then he said to me, if people cross it or jump over it, that's nothing I can control. So we're in this predicament now. That's exactly what he said to me. And that's true. If people jump over the barrier, and they can jump over it with a canoe or whatever, or a rowboat, fishing boat, which they are doing now anyway, then what's the purpose?
before you get to that point, let Matt oversee the 25-foot no-touch zone against the water 25 feet up. And let's see if there's room to put a boat, or this might all be moot.
Well, he shouldn't be working anymore until he gets his DEP and all that. Sorry.
Right now, he shouldn't be doing any work over there until he has his DEP number.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen,
DEP to
ladies.
trees.
My name is Ron Thunberg, 17 Cottage Road, so I'm directly on the lake. I just got a couple things. That's correct, he should not be filling flood zone, so there shouldn't be any additional fill brought into the site. I think the sketch plan that he shows has ruins on it, and he wants to fill in the ruins. Well, that would not be something that would be allowed unless he compensated for that someplace else. The real point that I have tonight, and really the biggest thing that I'm looking for, is to have an engineered plan. He took a plan from years and years ago that was recorded in the registry, a deed plan, okay, and sketched some things on it. He's doing work, in the 100-foot buffer, in the 50-foot buffer, in the 20-foot buffer. He's working right down to the resource area. Even if he has to remediate this stuff, he's working right up to the resource area, if not in it. So I think there should be an engineered plan. He should not be allowed to do anything else on this site, okay, until he gets an engineered plan in here and he has Matt review it and at least have the abutters have a real look at what he wants to do. So we have a real proposal on the table instead of him saying, okay, I'm just gonna do it anyways, okay? No more gonna do it anyways, Mr. LeBrecq, okay? That's not the way it's done in Massachusetts or in the town of Dudley, okay? You need to have an engineered plan, hire a land surveyor, hire a civil engineer, and put a real plan together showing what you're doing. Thank you.
Bravo.
My name's Ray Zepsi. Been a resident of Hayden Pond since 1971, and I agree with what everybody has said. And our concern is, very genuine. That we're very passionate. But a little history. About 10 years ago, someone did some work on Hayden Pond, which caused a major problem. Caused a massive milfoil, and we couldn't swim, we couldn't ski. We were digging it out in clumps, putting it in boats, rowboats, and bringing it onto the shore. We would not like to see any runoff, and that would be a major, major problem for us. Thank you.
All right. right now, because there is no DEP number, we're gonna continue this public hearing till the next meeting, which is
April 17th.
April 17th. Someone like to make a motion to that?
I'd like to make a motion that we continue the public hearing for LeBrec on Hayden Pond Road until April 17th.
Second.
Motion made and second to continue the public hearing for Mr. LeBrec on Hayden Pond Road. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if we could just ask two things in between hearings.
Yep.
One, Mr. LeBrec's gonna have to take that silt fence and trench it in by hand.
Yep.
So, in other words, you're gonna dig a trench, put that silt fence in and bury it so that it's tight to the ground. That's number one. And number two, I'd like to see in between the meeting, the 25-foot zone measured off, so I can have a look at it before the next meeting, because there's gonna have to be some plantings done. The plantings are basically going to limit, is gonna be designed to eliminate the possibility of a boat launch or anything like that. I had spoken to Mr. LeBrec about that on site and said, the whole reason for the 25-foot zone, especially in this area, is, they're not gonna allow you a dock or a beach or a boat launch or anything like that. So,
All right. Mr. LeBrec, did you hear that?
Yes, I did. So I have to hand dig and bury the silt fence. Is that the way I'm understanding it?
That's
And
correct.
And that's from the road to the road? In other words,
so
the
where
whole-
you have the silt fence put up,
Yeah,
it's not installed properly.
yeah,
To install a silt fence properly, you have to essentially dig a small trench, tamp the fence into the ground, and then bury the ground back over that section of fence that you tamped into the ground. That's to keep the fence tight and to keep any potential erosion contained.
okay,
Once you do that and you mark out the 25-foot zone, I need to come verify the measurements. If at that point I want you to add more erosion protection, I will tell you on site.
okay. Understood.
All right.
Are you going to close, the meeting?
No, I'm not closing the meeting.
Well, they just continued.
Thank you. Sorry again. Ronald Thunberg, 17 Cottage Road. So I've asked for something, and I think it's important.
Yep.
Okay? That he has an engineer plan, and I think that should probably be acted on tonight. Okay? He's still under cease and desist. Okay? I think this commission has the authority to say, as part of the cease and desist, with what you're doing and your denial, basically telling us you're going to do whatever you want anyways. Okay? You need to stop him and have him bring in a detailed plan. Okay? So I hope that's part of your proposal tonight. Thank you.
Right now, we're doing steps. And I want to make sure that Matt oversees everything to 25-foot, and that if Matt determines that it needs to be an engineered plan,
I don't think that's the case, sir. I'll be honest with you. You look at the notice of intent, it specifically says you need to have a stamp plan by a registered surveyor or an engineer, okay? And I think the commission has the right to waive that, okay? But the notice
we
of
have not waived that.
okay, so why is he not required, okay? Why does he come up with a sketch like this, which you can't even read? Literally, it's illegible. Why is he being able to get away with this when no one else can? Everybody else filed, Gothy has filed for notice of intent. Everybody gets a cease and desist. You have an engineered plan to come in, okay? So you can see exactly what you're doing. Trees you're going to cut down, they can locate the trees. They if you're doing work within the 25-foot buffer anywhere, okay? You show the limit of work, okay? And that hay bale and silt fence that go around should be around your limit of work. Okay, so it doesn't affect the pond. And I know Matt's looking at this, but Matt's not around every day. Okay, And Mr. LeBrecq seems to be willing to do everything every day and just keep using it, including using his commercial equipment and storing commercial supplies, he just told you, on the site. Okay? That's not right. Okay? He shouldn't be able to store anything on that site, especially bulldozers, and they carry a lot of diesel fuel. So this is what I'm saying. I think we need to, as a commission, know what he's going to do, have a detailed plan of it, have Matt review it, because Matt's a very good agent, but review it to the T, and make sure he does what he's supposed to do. Because I think he should be able to use the lot, okay, for, if it's his intended purpose to store trailers there, and they registered to him, they're not commercial trailers, he's not using it as a business, that's fine. We have no problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. But I think you really need to come down tonight and before the 17th of April and say, okay, if you want to come back on the 17th of April, have an engineered plan like everybody else in the world. That's all.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Matt, what do you think?
Well, the commission can require it, absolutely, he's correct.
Do we,
Mr. Thunberg is correct.
will we open the public hearing back up and then vote on that?
Well, we continued the public hearing, so.
Well, you've already, as a matter of, as a point of order, you actually did continue the meeting already.
Okay.
Right.
To a date time certain. But, I mean, obviously what's happened is Mr. LeBrecq's been put on notice. This is also the point that, to Mr. Thunberg's point, the DEP is reviewing this application, which means they also have a copy of that drawing. I did note, there is floodplain on the property, so the state may ask for a drawing with more details themselves. So, somebody's gonna ask for more detail.
Neighbors are.
I think we should have him
Okay.
do it. I'd like to make a motion that we have Mr. LeBrecq come up with an engineered plan to present to us and to the DEP, his intentions and where everything is supposed to go.
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Next thing on the agenda is,
Nope, you're doing what you want.
Larned Pond Association ratify the vote that was approved on July 19th, 2023. An OOC extension.
Thank you for hearing us.
Thanks for coming.
Larned Pond Association
Okay, yeah, recommend a 3-year extension.
said to ratify a vote that was done in July 19th.
Right, so what wound up happening, it came before you for a 3-year extension, but there's no record of the vote.
Okay,
For some reason, the vote never made it onto the record, so we're asking for a revote for the 3-year extension.
okay. All right,
So I'll make a motion to ratify the vote for Larner Pond Association that was approved July 19th, 2023, to be extended
3
3
years.
years.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, request for a certificate of compliance for Eric Johnson, 118 Pierpont Road.
So, Mr. Chairman, this one is actually, work with order to make sure the form is issued the way it's supposed to be, but it's to invalidate the order that we previously issued on this. Apparently the need to replace the septic has been eliminated, so they're not gonna carry out the order and they're going to sell the property. So they needed to close out and clear up that previous order. It would, the motion to issue the certificate of compliance for invalidating the order, there is a box where you can do that on the form, and I'll work with order to make sure that that's done. That would just clear up their title. If any other work on the property needs to be done, someone's gonna have to refile a new notice of intent.
Okay. Someone want to make a motion on that?
I can do it if you Just want to make a motion that we delete the certificate of compliance for Eric Johnson at 118 Pierpoint Road.
No, issue
Issue,
The motion should be to issue a certificate of compliance.
okay,
because work was never done.
Okay, gotcha.
The work was never commenced.
okay. Well, issue a certificate of compliance for Eric Johnson at 118 Pierpoint Road.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next is approval of the meeting minutes, December 13th, 2023. You guys look at it.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from December 13th, 2023 as presented.
Motion's been made and seconded to accept the meeting minutes for December 13th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, approval of the meeting minutes for January 24th, 2024.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes for January 24th, 2024 as presented.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the meeting minutes for January 24th. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay,
Those pictures.
next on the agenda is, Mr. Webb would like to ask the board which direction he'd like to go, and if he can make a presentation.
My name is Bud Webb. I'm here representing Mark McKenzie, Jen McKenzie at 166 Klondike on Pierpont, right up Beach Road, keep going down the end, second to the last house. I do
Can you
have some
hear?
pictures if I can approach the bench and show you what,
Matt, can you hear?
you hear that, Matt?
Okay.
Okay. So want to see what approach the board wants me to take, be it RDA or whatever. I got some pictures that I could show you, and I can leave with you as well. I got them online.
Yep.
I took them myself. My wife, truth be told, my wife uploaded it to the computer. Looking from the lot, the right side, these stairs are gonna go, and all this impervious stuff, concrete, we're gonna evict it and put paver stiles. Same size. That's lawn now, gonna remain that way.
Okay.
Here's a picture of stairs. They don't go quite to the water's probably out here somewhere. Those are gonna just be eliminated.
Okay.
They're all decrepit. There's an asphalt boat ramp, gets, I don't know, 3-4 feet short. It's all gravel there, so they don't worried about getting the ramp into the water. That's gonna go. We wanna use, proposed drivable permeable pavers. You know, you fill them in with dirt in the middle.
Okay.
They work marvelous, and they don't budge. And here's a close-up of the stairs on the side of the house and the patio. These
Can you,
walk-
can you
are
see
poured-
these, Matt?
I can't see them now. Can you pull them up?
Yeah, right there.
That camera right there?
These are the stairs that he's taking, you're removing those, right?
Yep.
To go to the pond.
These are the pond ones? Yep, they're just gonna go. We're taking them out, stabilize it, and it's gonna be sod. We're gonna use sod. We don't wanna wait for grass and get runoff. So the
Can you
guys
see
got the
that,
money,
Matt?
I said, I'm proud of them, use
Yeah, I
sod.
can see that.
He wants to, remove that and put sod down. That's right at the water.
No, those are gonna go.
Is anything going into the water
No,
or
that's
on
probably,
the shoreline?
that's probably 3 feet short of water, high water. I don't know why they did it that way, to be honest, truth be honest with you, but. Matt, this
If
is
you're
down the
gonna
end of Klondike, second to the last house.
Yeah, if you're just gonna remove the steps and just put sod, an RDA should work fine.
Okay,
Okay, now here's he's removing that and putting pavers.
there's an impervious, concrete patio, gonna be the same size, but pavers.
Yeah, same thing.
Impervious.
I think putting it all on an RDA would work.
Okay. He was just looking for what direction he wanted to go into.
Yeah, I just took a quick look at his, property on the overlays, but there is floodplain, but it's confined to the water. It only goes up to the shoreline, so it's, on that lot, it's not a problem.
RDA it is then.
RDA.
So Dad, are you sitting on a boat?
No, actually,
It looks
if
like
you're
a boat.
talking about my background is actually the bridge of the Jupiter 2. The reason why I have the bridge of the Jupiter 2
Yeah.
is for anybody that grew up in the 60s and watched Lost in Space.
Guilty as charged? Dr. Smith?
Mark Goddard, who played Major West,
Yes, sir.
was a very personal friend of mine, and he passed away last October, so I leave this up as a tribute to him.
Good for you.
Nice.
Good for you, Matt. Nice story to end the night.
Is he related to Robert Goddard?
Right, you mean the guy that did the missile?
Yeah.
You went to my school when I was a kid.
Yeah, the
Not the
Goddard
same
who
year.
did the missile actually was a distant cousin of his, yeah.
Cool.
Very good.
All right, someone make a motion to adjourn?
That was an
I'll make a
interesting meeting.
motion to adjourn.
I know Ron well, actually, I've known him for about 35 years.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.